there are no delusions of grandeur, at least not when you connect to who you're meant to become, not you when you connect to your authentic self, not when you connect to why you were born and why you're on the earth. But many times we think that if we own ourselves, that we will look a little odd to others, or that they will think we're operating from our ego, or something is wrong with us. Why? We're supposed to be fully in love with ourselves. We're supposed to own every aspect of ourselves. But the thing that stops us is thinking that that couldn't be us. It's too much. I know because I've lived with that my entire life. And I do know that you have experienced that because we all do. See, because when you come into the world, you have to figure out who you are, even beyond your family or who you lived with or where you grew up. None of that matters. It's you who has to decide that your being, your place on this earth is really valuable. But then you might have that little feeling of, oh, this is too big. I can't tell people who I am. I can't own who I am. Let me hide a little bit more. Let me be really insecure because I shouldn't be born. I shouldn't have been on the earth. I mean, I can give you all of them because I do know them all, because I probably lived them. But then there's another thing that happens. You discover that you were meant to be in the world and you were meant to be here now because the world is changing. And so you have something to offer. And that will happen when you let go of this fake idea that you have a delusion, thinking of grandeur. You're supposed to be that. I'm saying this because I can, because I've lived with this for so long. I'll tell you, when I first started doing Wilhelm, receiving Wilhelm in 1989, I wasn't going to tell anyone because it didn't make sense to them. They're going to think I'm just out of my mind doing this, and I had to do it every day and didn't know why I was doing it. And then I went through every horrible thing that a human can live, can move through in their lives. I've done all of it. And in a few weeks, I'll be 74. I'm in the best place ever because of this work that I received. But believing that and telling everyone else was still, I'm going to I'm going to be this imposter. They're going to find me out. Even though everything that I received from Wilhelm caused me to heal, and it's done the same thing for everyone else. But it's that belief that we all lack at times that keeps us stuck. But I'm going to read a message to you because it came through on October 9th, many years ago. I'm saying this because there is alignment in the universe and you have it. It was given to you when you were born. And I proved that today as well with members in my group because I have told many people that when I received this information in 2012 that I received a message on anyone's birthday. And if I met them and read them their message, they would get it. But then it went further than that. My William said, do other dates. That's what we did this morning in the group. And I said, let me try that. I went to other dates, and so it was aligned, and they said that is exactly me. Then I was looking for an assistant, and then they came in, and I had some interviews, and I did their birthdays, and then the one that I really loved was about anxiety. And I read this to this person, and they said, oh my God, that's exactly me. Well, it's all of us to a different degree, but then we will find that we will have different aspects of that because we're all human. And that's the place that we're trying to get to now. That's why the world looks the way that it does, because we're trying to say, wait a minute, don't all people matter? Shouldn't they be in the world? But no, they're going to start to believe that they have these delusions of grandeur. We can't let that happen. That's the societal change that we've moved through in our world many, many times. I just happened to be privy enough to get the information, but accepting that and telling others and believing that it was real was really challenging until I healed. I'm saying that because I want people to know that you can do that. That is within you. We live in our consciousness. Consciousness is never formed. It's never complete because it's always evolving. When people come into the world, we discover new things. And sometimes it's really challenging. It was really challenging for me, but that's why I can make it so much easier for everyone else, which is what we are all meant to do. Because if you think about it, that's how we evolve. But then you have to understand everyone's not going to do that. And that's where we are now, which is why we have conflict, which we have chaos and in certain places. But as I read this message, it will make so much more sense to you. And then I'm going to explain a lot more because it's also a story that I will be telling on an interview that I'm doing that's going to go to these millions of people, which is not something I would have ever done. I'm saying you can always expand to a greater place of who you are when you become willing. And here is that message. I'm going to explain all of this. It will be a little confusing at first. On October 9th, 2020, there are no delusions of grandeur. There is, however, limited thinking under which each of you operates when you decide to live a new lifetime. We do love throwing in those references as more of you will consider that possibility you have lived before, and your acknowledgement of that will aid your journey in this lifetime. When we awakened Roger this morning, we were yelling in his ear the phrase, "You must change." Then we told him to deliver that message to all, and Roger agreed that it might not be applicable to all, and that is not only not true, but it is the precise belief that has given rise to your world's current condition. You each have had ideas of something you wanted to do and be in this lifetime, or further improve your current state of affairs, whatever that might be. But most times, what you do is doubt you can accomplish that goal. You create obstacles and distractions in front of you so you might use them as convenient excuses. Roger was quite aware that he has done this and done it many times in his life. Then we led him to several videos, and they were recorded more than 10 years ago, but they sounded applicable today. We also reminded Roger of why we sent him to study the pandemic of 1918 and noticed similar issues were being resolved then as they are now. The resolutions come about when the individuals involved are willing to change and evolve, and that individual is you. We will leave you with that to contemplate, for there is not one of you who will not find truth in that statement. Finally, we decided to give you a bit more of an idea of why we have been using the United States as an example of the restructuring. The reason is they set up the ideals humanity strives for in each millennium, but falls short, just as you have. But that is the process of evolution. The reason we use the United States is contained in the preamble of the Constitution. The perfect union is you coming to own all of you. Still, you don't realize you were meant to live it individually to cause it to manifest collectively. You will come to understand that sentence. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And as you can see, we haven't done that real well. And so that's what we're trying to get to now. And that message came through in 2020. And if you can think about that, in 2020, we were going through the pandemic, and you probably would have been focused on that. However, I was receiving messages about this change that we were moving through. And my job was to help other people understand exactly who they are, move to a higher state of consciousness so that we change everything. See, we had to get rid of all the lower vibrational ideas and beliefs that we have had, that we've carried from our ancestors, from all those who came before. And that's how I heal. I had to acknowledge that I'm a human. I'm a human person. And so that means my soul has always existed. But in that existence, I've experienced different lifetimes. I've experienced different belief systems, races, gender, whatever it might have been. And from that, I picked up limiting ideas and beliefs. And so I don't heal unless I move through them. And so my Wilhelm started me on that many, many, many years ago. That's why it's taken so long for me to put together this philosophy, because I had to make sure that it worked. And now that I know that it does, and I know that everything they gave me was aligned with any individual because it was cosmic guidance, cosmic consciousness, which said every person has something to bring to the world, but they also have an evolutionary path that they must move through to get to that place. Everyone won't do it the same way. Some people go off and just do their lives and become really happy and successful and make a lot of money. But then you look at them and you say, wait a minute, something is still not there. So Wilhelm said, let's do something different. Let's give you a new philosophy called your life operating instructions, where more people come to understand that they have value and they can work through everything that's been holding them back, and they can thrive and put a new energy into the world. And that is what is happening. But the only thing that happened is I didn't keep going because I wasn't doing my job. And then another message that I received on a different year on the 9th of October, it said, if you do your job, the world will change. But see, that wasn't just me, that was everyone, because your job is to own and love who you are and develop that wonderful gift that is within you that you were supposed to bring to the world. This is what I'm going to talk about on the show on Coast to Coast with George Norrie, but also it's the information that I'll be channeling when I go back to Gaia on the 19th of October. But I'll leave those links in this video so you can check them out. And I just want you to know that you can achieve great things when you decide to let go of your thoughts that you were somehow this small, insignificant person, and start to embody your delusions of grandeur, because you're supposed to have them. Please subscribe to the channel, share it with others. We are going to uplift our entire planet because you can. See you soon.